Welcome to Community Spotlight. I'm your host, Chris Scott, and I'm here with Grace from last week, and our new friend, Ray Ray. We're just going to call him Ray Ray. We used to have a Yaya. Now we have a Ray Ray. We have our new engineer with us today, Jamie. Welcome, Jamie.
Hi.
And please feel free to call us up with any comments, suggestions at 631-955-5400. That's 631-955-5400. Or you can also listen to us on WLIE 540am.com. We have a lot to go through. Welcome, Ray. Tell us a little about yourself.
Chris, I'm your average guy, and I'm just here. I'm going to tell you straight out. You
Yes.
might not always like what you hear out of my mouth.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie to you.
All right.
You know, I just want to point out a couple of really good things going on here on Long Island this week.
Go ahead.
Watching Channel 12 this morning.
Yes.
It's Kings Park Day.
Kings Park Day. What?
It's Park Day. They have their own day.
They have their own day.
They have their own day. There's going to be food, vendors, some music, and, you know, the way the economy is right now, we really need to get out there and
True.
have a good time on days like today, where we're stuck in the studio. Get out there and have some fun with the fam.
Right.
Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day to all
Yes.
you fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day to all of you out
Hey,
there.
we had Ralph Swazi on Newsday this week announcing the Seafair event, July 6th and 7th, up in Glen Cove after a 6-year waterfront rehab. They finally got the construction of the Long Beach Boardwalk underway.
What? Chris?
I know that's a sore spot for you.
That's a
Chris
very
know?
sore spot for me. And they're going to start from the middle so they can
I
make
think
sure they
Chris seemed
can
a little
collect
happy
all the
today.
money from the vendors that they're going to be putting up there. And what else was in the news? But what's his name? Michael Fagan. He was the former city councilman of Long Beach.
30 days in the hole.
In the hole. But, you know, when you have Tom Sofield Jr. and Tom Sofield
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a
Sr.
real hard time. He's going to be breaking rocks and stuff. in there.
Yeah, I know. He's going to come
He's
out.
been riding like a leather couch and watching cable.
Well, he'll lose some weight, you know, get a
There you go.
haircut.
Long Beach is a creepy town. I don't
You
like it.
hate Long Beach.
Listen, my opinion. A lot
No,
of
I'm
people
not.
love
I'm
it.
not disagreeing or agreeing
It's
with you.
just
I'm
my
just.
opinion.
I'm stating right. You
I
just,
don't.
you
I don't
hate
like
it.
the town. I think. I just don't. I think they are way overstocked with police officers who are overpaid and underworked.
Here, here.
I don't. I just, you know, and I don't want people to
Who may
call
not
up and
always do
say,
the right
"Oh,
thing
the
all
show
the
is
time.
too political," so we'll try to stay away from
Yes,
some
let's do
political
that.
stuff this week.
Well, that applies to Long Beach and probably Nassau and Suffolk County as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Nassau's no angel. Whatever happened to Sir Topham Hatt, Kate Murray?
Oh,
Hey, wait,
nice.
I promise.
You're aging yourself now, buddy boy.
Yes, she's from Thomas the Tank Engine. She's the one that always yells at the trains. 631-955-5400. We got a lot to talk about.
It's Mr.
First,
Random.
You know, yesterday, for the second time, I actually stopped using a barber shop, and I went to a
He
hair.
went to the Barbara shop this time.
I went to a hair salon, and I have to tell you, it is creepy because
What do you expect? You're there in the middle of the day.
But
Who do you think is going to be there getting their dues done?
half these women look like they're being embalmed or
Yeah.
should be embalmed.
Yeah, some of that stuff you just can't unsee.
How do I look?
That's true. You can.
Could you give me a little bouffant? Could you put a bun in the back of my hair? How do
And
I
there
look?
Chris was. There Chris was like, ooh, how do
I'm
I get
just
my
watching.
hair big like that?
I just want a haircut.
How do I? Oh, you look dull. You got little Pond's skin cream on your face. Yeah, those. Yeah, they're getting their disgusting nails done. Oh, darling, give me a foot massage. Oh, it's
You know
great.
what? Just because they're older doesn't make them gross. Come on, don't be mean.
Hey,
I get
listen.
a text from Chris. I'm in the barber shop, and it looks like the crypt keeper is just walking.
Yeah, he was working on the Crypt Keeper.
He must
I
have
love
saw
that
the
show, by the way. I used to
cucumbers.
sit in my basement by myself watching that at night. Anyway.
Just and she kept complaining. Could you just do the front of my hair? It's not done right, lady. You look like you're about one step away from being laid out in a casket. Okay, I don't think we're too
Old people
concerned.
deserve to look fabulous, okay?
I never said she was old. I just said she was ugly.
Well, if she needed beauty sleep, it might have been about
That
20
is
years
all.
worth, but hey.
Hey, what's the deal with past girlfriends? Like,
Oh,
I got a
no.
call 2 weeks ago from someone that I haven't seen in about I don't know 11 years or so. She's got like three children now, and they call you up, and I said to her, "Let me guess, you're going through a divorce." She goes, "Yes." So now we got.
Is that when only when women call you when they're going through emotional turmoil?
It's like when they know you're happy, they call.
Yeah, that's it. It's like,
Well, it's true.
Why'd
When
you call?
you're-
You must have found out I'm happy.
Actually, Ray said that this morning. Yes, once they sense that you're happy, there must be some kind of vibe.
It is. It's
They
a
do.
wave. It's an energy that goes out into the universe, and they pick up on it.
Yes, the
True.
secret.
Yeah, exactly. Once
It's all in the universe.
He's
It's all
happy.
about vibes.
He's in a nice apartment complex, as a pool. And then she's calling me up yesterday, asking me like ridiculous questions, like where do I get a used microwave? Where can I get used twin seats?
Apparently seeking funding.
She needs it. You know, you guys are mean. You know what? If she's going it alone with 3 children, she
Yes.
must be going through a hard time.
I'm sure she is. And listen, I'm not making
and
fun of
maybe
her.
she thought mistakenly that you were a nice, helpful man.
No, you know what? Let me tell you something. Write it down. Write it.
I'm going to take a picture.
Embed
I'll
this.
take a picture of
Embed
it,
this
and I'm
in
gonna
your
write it
brain
down.
and never forget it.
Okay.
Ready?
Is that
Okay.
a threat? Are you
No good
On the radio?
deed goes unpunished.
you know what? Unfortunately, I agree to a certain extent. I
The
do
nicer
agree.
you are to people, the more
The
you
more they
will
kick
have
you in
a
the
shoe
face.
up your butt.
Oh, there's so many cases and points to bring
Why
forth
is
with
that,
that.
people? Why? It's so sad.
They take advantage all the time. It's just, well, not everyone, but
That's true.
A
That's a
handful.
blanket statement.
Yes.
But there are a lot of people who are like that. Yes, unfortunately,
So,
which makes people scared to reach out a helping hand.
so let's say, for example, I said, okay, let me get this individual 2 car seats and a microwave, and then all of a sudden next week, oh, I've decided to go back with my ex. Okay,
And-
don't you think that I kind of
But that
Got-
doesn't change the fact that her children needed those items.
no, but it does change the fact that she used me.
No, you feel like you're being used. It's not like she's offering you some personal.
No, I don't. I'm not asking to be offered anything, but let me tell you, when we used to date, we had fun. We had a lot of fun together,
Okay.
and then she
I believe
moved on.
that, Chris. I think dating you is a lot of fun.
We used to go into the city a lot.
Oh, really?
Ray, do you like
I
the
love
city? Are
city.
you
I
like
love
a
the
city
city.
person?
I'll tell you, I love to go in the city and see a show every once in a while.
Yeah.
Haven't had the chance as of late, but you know, I'll tell you, Manhattan is not what it used to be. Go into
Good
Manhattan,
meal.
coming from the suburbs,
See
you're just looking at a
interesting
good time to be
people.
had by all.
Right.
Lots of
Yes.
interesting folks.
Yeah.
All kinds of ethnic diversity. Such a dynamic scene, it's unbelievable.
I love the people watching.
Absolutely.
When you go to Little Italy and just sit outside on the sidewalk cafes, you just watch the people walk by.
Oh yeah, no, like you know, it's really
Great.
cool. Like an interesting observation in the city. You know, you can see people walking up and down the street, and you'll see like the homeless guy sitting in front of whatever building,
Yeah,
and you know, people will be walking right by him.
he's usually dancing
you know,
or like
The
doing
guy with the briefcase that can't find his way to whatever it is, for example, 795 Broadway,
right.
and he walks up to someone, and the guy's like, you know, and they're right over the homeless guy. He's like, oh. Yeah, man, just go up 2 blocks, and you know it's right there on your right, and you know, but they're
Right.
not paying this poor homeless guy a second look.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
So sad.
You know,
That's very
I mean,
sad.
it's a human double standard.
Do you know that I went to the Yankee game a couple of weeks ago, and it was with my brother. We took the D train. We took a subway, and there was. I mean, it just shows you how mentally sick people are just roaming the earth. She was walking
There's one
around
sitting right next to me.
the subway station with no top, absolutely no top.
A woman?
A woman with no top. And
And you have
and you
a-
have police walking around there. I was like, okay, why isn't she taken away? Obviously, she's not mentally stable. What are you doing here?
Maybe she was just hot. Was it
Yeah.
summertime?
Well, she was probably trying to catch the breeze as the subways went by.
Well, so much for
Strong
the
gust of air.
$10,000 televisions they have for us to watch at the subway platforms now.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's true. I love the one at the gas tank where you could sit and.
Oh yeah,
You're
and
pumping
now
your
they
gas
have
and
them in the
watch
back of
TV.
taxi cabs.
Yes.
Yeah, your ad here.
Yes.
Hi, this is Joe
Oh, and you know
Girardi
that
telling you
can
to
play-
buckle up.
Pay with your credit card too in the back of a taxi now. You just swipe it right through.
Just swipe
So
it through.
awesome.
You should have no problem.
Oh yeah, that's been going on for a while now.
But I really don't think they want you to pay with a credit card.
No, I don't think they do either. Like, no, it doesn't work.
You
Like,
know who-
that's happened to me.
You know who
Twice.
does? The televangelical ministers at 5 o'clock in the
That's-
morning. God will accept
Oh,
Visa,
don't get me
MasterCard,
started.
or American Express,
And
God
you will be healed.
You will be healed, and all your bills will be paid. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Pay us now,
It's better to give than
or
to
you'll
receive.
burn in the
It's
depths of
better to
hell.
give.
But he loves you.
I have to fuel my corporate jet, so please
Oh my.
send in what you
You know
have
what?
to send.
For the record, I
Yes.
don't believe all of these men are like that. I believe some of them really believe that they're doing a work for God and for the greater good.
I think
but
even-
there are some very greedy, terrible, horrible people who are doing terrible things with that money and
Yes.
not helping others. So,
And
Just thought I'd
Tammy
put that
Faye
in
married
there.
for love, you know.
are you trying to discredit what I just said? Right?
They'll tell you how.
Nice at
You
all.
know what? I love when they tell you how. There's this guy John Hagee, and people are gonna write in. I don't know John Hagee, so why are you talking about John Hagee? He's like seriously about 750 pounds, and all he does is get up on stage and tell everybody how they're sinning and go to hell. But has he ever heard of the sin of gluttony? So before you're up on stage talking to people about how they're sinning and go to hell, how about you just like go to Weight Watchers for a few months and stuff like that and knock off the thing, and they tell you how to raise your family. Speaking of which, and I think Ray, and I actually both Ray and Grace are parents, so they could you know, get into this conversation. But Ray, what do you think here? Hillary Clinton once made a statement, and this was several years ago,
She's not home yet.
that a village.
I don't know. What does that mean?
Hillary, go home.
Is
Home
it-
where? Where?
No one wants to hear
women
what she
shouldn't be,
has to
what,
say?
Women shouldn't be in politics, Ray? Is that
She-
what you're trying to say?
I'm not going to talk about
Well, I can
politics.
tell you about
I'm
Carolyn.
gonna talk about
Oh.
someone I want to pay attention to, and it sure isn't her. I didn't pay attention to her
Well,
for the
Chris brought
4
it up. Don't
years
blame me.
her
Carolyn-
husband was in office, and I don't want to pay attention to her now.
That's
But
right. But
That's it.
But you know what?
But her hair still looks the
Look
same.
at all the stuff, because Hillary made a statement that said it takes a village to raise a child, which I think is complete BS, because it takes one or two good parents to raise a
You have
child.
parents today that, you know, by all ways and means, they have to both work just to make ends meet.
Absolutely.
They're bringing their kids to school as a
Yes.
daycare program.
Right.
They're bringing sick kids to school. They're bringing lousy
people have
kids
no
to
choice.
school. And these are not necessarily terrible parents, but these are parents that don't have a choice.
Right.
Right.
There's no one they can
But
call.
you know, the government is trying to brainwash us by saying you're not allowed to hit your kid, to spank your kid. I'm not saying abuse your kid by any sense of the imagination, but years ago, kids got spanked, they got slapped around,
I definitely
they
got
became
spanked.
doctors, lawyers, accountants, presidents, Indian chiefs, the whole 9 yards.
Shamans.
And they turned out to be very normal people. Now all of a sudden, your parent has to be your best friend, and don't shake your kid, and don't do this, and
Okay,
don't
you
do...
shouldn't shake your kid.
There's nothing wrong with shaking your kid.
I disagree with that.
There is nothing wrong with
wholeheartedly.
shaking. No. Ray,
What do you mean?
would you shake your kid if you had to?
Please say no, Ray. Please say
Well,
no.
no, I don't believe in shaking a
Thank
baby,
you.
but I'll tell you
No.
what, I'll shake my kid up if I have to.
Okay, shake your kid up. Well, I'm not talking about shaking a baby, but shaking, let's say, a 12-year-old, a third. That's getting out
You
of
mean
hand.
like taking them by the shoulders and shaking them like this?
Is it, yeah, what's the difference between that and spanking them? Go ahead.
Oh my God, you're
Ugh.
so hot. I can't even take it.
It's the diverticulitis. Excuse me. Go ahead.
You totally okay.
631-955-5400.
Well, you know, it boils down
You know
to
what,
this.
I
If you
don't-
don't teach your kids respect,
Well, that's the
to
whole
respect
thing. They
you,
need to
they're
be
not going to respect
respectful.
anyone.
Exactly.
Respect you, respect themselves.
But you know, what about the days of
make the
when,
right choices.
when parents were like, okay, we're eating at 6 or 7 o'clock. Everybody better be here. I don't want kids watching TV. Let's talk about school. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. How are you doing? Are you doing your homework? Did you get it done?
You're talking about
What are your
family
grades?
time.
Right, family time, and it's gone. It's like going.
Right.
It's like going away.
People come and go. They're passing ships in the night. They
Play
don't spend
dates.
any
Your
time.
play dates.
Play date. What is a play date? When I was a kid, we
It's
went
when you
out.
make an appointment to play with another person.
That is. That,
Okay, that's, you know, too new world for me. Where I grew up, it was like, make sure you
That's
check
right.
in,
Meet me on the street corner until the street light comes on.
be
right?
home, and when
Right.
the street lights come on, I want you home.
Right.
And no, you're not watching
What happened-
TV
That
until
was
you do your
beautiful, but
homework.
now it doesn't work like that. Everyone has schedules. People have karate.
What about
they
my
have
friend is coming over?
tutoring.
Or go to your friend's house. Yeah, I'm going to my friend's house. Or my friend is going. Okay, we don't have to say play date.
Yeah,
What is this?
personally, I'm too
Play date.
disorganized to make play dates. So it's like, oh, here,
We
here.
have to
play
come up
with
with
your friend
something
for-
new. I don't know.
So he came
But the government is trying. You're going to see pretty soon. Eventually, we're going to become like a communist country. They're going to tell us what to say, what not to say, what colors to wear, what colors not to wear, what days to drive, what days not to drive. Because you will always be offending
Well,
someone.
I hope
What do you
purple is
mean?
always allowed.
What do you mean becoming? What do you mean we're going to?
It's you know what happened? I'll tell you. The country has so much freedom to the point that there are so many frivolous
Totally.
lawsuits. You offended me. You said a certain word. I'm suing you. You offended me. You are a certain color. I'm suing you. You offended me. You said I'm suing you. And then you have these polyester suit attorneys that would pretty much put their own mother up in front of a firing squad for the right amount of money. And I think that it's just getting to the point where we're becoming so free that it's like anybody could sue anyone. This guy gave me a dirty look. This woman gave me a dirty look. Let me sue. Let me sue. Let me do this. And then you'll always get some knucklehead. Oh, I'll take the case. Oh, yeah, I'll take the case. Okay.
I think that's true, but doesn't it come down to people not doing the right thing towards each other? People not behaving correctly.
In many senses, yes.
Right, humanity.
Absolutely.
Where's our humanity?
We're losing our humanity.
That's the whole thing. If people would stand up and take responsibility for themselves, turn the finger inward towards yourself and say, what do I need to do to be a better person and to make this world a better place, all these things would go away.
And
So
Ray,
when do we
what do you
start?
think? Do you
When
think
do
she's
we
right,
start?
or
Well, yeah, she's right. She, in my opinion, to a certain extent, to where you have these people that are trying to do this. They're trying to better themselves. They're trying to make things right for everybody and everybody around them, and they keep getting kicked down. They keep getting kicked while they're down, and it makes it impossible for them. And people tend to lose hope after a while.
Only person I can
let's see
control.
what Ray has to say. What about that woman? I think we spoke about this several weeks ago on the radio. I think she was an attorney. She wrote some like ridiculous long letter. It was like War and Peace, and then she took her baby and threw herself out like a sixth-floor window.
Oh, that's the one the baby survived.
The baby survived.
Yeah, I tell you the
don't know
truth.
that
There had to be some extenuating circumstances there that dictated some mental instability.
Right. Would you take your child with you? I mean, like, why would you like take your child? Like, you know.
I mean, that's a horrible.
Well, it goes back to
this
the
happened in
ex-girlfriend
Chicago.
thing.
This happened in Chicago.
That goes back to the ex-girlfriend thing.
Right.
If I can't have her, no one can.
You know what? I want to live in a world where people don't judge me by a number on a page.
Yeah, let's
I'm not that number. I'm
Years ago,
who I
it was
am.
just TRW. It was just one agency, and if you
Why do we even need that?
now you
Why?
have to make changes. You have to make sure you get your corrections out to all three agencies, and you have the most incompetent people working for these agencies. It's criminal, and you would think that the president of the United States would have said, "Hold on a second, we hit a recession, almost like the Great Depression." Okay. Good-
Actually, they say it was worse. If you compare it to what it was, the numbers, it was actually worse what we went through.
People lost their jobs. People
Yes,
weren't
many,
able to
many
pay their
people.
bills.
jumped off
Yes,
buildings.
many people.
Right, you know, and you're gonna. Why not being
Thank you,
the
Ray.
president and in charge of federal? Federal. Everybody says federal. Federal. Come on. Federal doesn't scare many people.
You used to have Experian. Now you have Experian, Equifax,
And TransUnion.
TRW, TransUnion, and it all goes to FICO. I think TRW might even be out of the picture.
It's
Right,
gone.
FICO is
TRW's
the one
gone.
who comes
I
up
think
with the number.
FICO is
Yeah.
your
The score.
averaging company.
Right.
That's those are the guys out of Texas, right?
So as the president, you should say, okay, time out. This is what's been going on. We hit a recession. Okay. Let's revamp these
wipe
credit
the
sco-
slate clean and
right.
start over.
Let's start over here. Let's.
How beautiful would that be? Let's hit the reset button.
Well, you know what? We didn't mess up with hundreds of billions of dollars.
I
We
know.
don't have a personal agenda involved in any of this.
It's okay.
So we can't get bailed out.
I only messed up with a couple of $1,000.
It was okay for the government to give out to give out mortgages for people that had a pulse. If you had a pulse, you'd get a mortgage.
You know what? Everyone
Remember
should
that?
be able to
That was
own a
great.
home. Everyone should be able to own a piece of land and say, this is mine. This is where I'm going to raise my family. Everyone should have a piece of the pie.
The
Everybody.
United States is business. It is one big
I know,
business.
it's so sad.
unfortunately-
We're owned by banks. We are literally
Yes, at their mercy.
owned by banks.
Well, that's because we're the American dream people from our generation. The
It's
American
turned into the
dream
American
people.
nightmare.
It's the American nightmare. Exactly. You hit the nail
Absolutely.
right on the head. And we can no longer serve our couple of years in the military and then move on down the line and come out,
I
get a
don't want to
VA
have
loan.
to serve in the military. I don't want
grab a
there
house.
to be a military. I
But
don't want there to
remember,
be a need.
remember now, we're the children of the baby boomers. We are, some of us, the baby boomers. And these people fought wars. They had to serve their
Yeah.
country in order to get what they had. They had to put their 20 years in with their
They had to
company.
put their life on the line in order to get
You put your life
Anything.
on the line, and we're going to give you a little piece of the pie. But
A
it's not
little,
like that
a
anymore.
very, very little
Welcome
piece.
to the new world.
It is.
Can we start a new world? Can we just start over?
I know.
and just
I know you would love to
really
see
be
peace.
kind?
Last
You
week.
know what? Yes,
week
I
we-
want to see peace, peace and love. No more war. People doing the right thing to each other. People repaying evil with good. Let's do it, people. Start with yourself. Start with you.
It's
That's
a
the
great
only
dream.
person you can
You
control.
think you bang the table enough?
I know.
I think
no.
we
I'm
have
gonna
like
rip this table right off.
I think we have about 10,000 deaf viewers out there right now.
I can feel
Thank
the
you.
enthusiasm.
Great. 631-955-5400. That's 631-955-5400. So as I was talking about one of my favorite watering holes and eateries, there's this one guy. His name is John. You ever have a person who just sits there? He doesn't know you. You don't know him or her, vice versa, whatever. And they just sit there, and like as I'm talking to the bartender or I'm talking to some of my friends who go, they just eavesdrop into your conversation. They sit there like with a goofy face. They're in, and then I'll be talking about whatever, and then they stop and, what do you mean by that? What do you mean that the a Lexus is better than a Kia? What do you? First of all, do I know you?
Hi,
Yeah.
what's your name?
What's your name? And like,
I'm sorry, the
yeah,
harm in that is?
the harm in that is I'm not in your business. Stay out of mine.
Did they walk into your home and ask you this?
No, they're
or were you
they're
sitting at a bar talking loudly, I'm sure?
No, I was
About
talking to my
something?
friends.
You were
And,
you were with a group of
and
people?
all of my friends said, along with the bartender, this man is annoying everyone.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I
Okay.
misunderstood. You were not sitting at
So-
the bar by yourself talking
Right,
to the
but
bartender.
with
Okay,
my friends.
then it-
Are
it's
you
a
talking
slightly
about
different
the
scenario.
boisterous dude who's everybody's friend?
Yeah, well, there's no. There's
Like
no.
Norm? Norm!
I think he
No,
tries
Norm was
to
cool.
be.
I like
No,
Norm.
I
thought
love
Norm,
Norm.
Norm
And
rocked.
you know
I
what?
think he tries
Yeah,
to be, but
absolutely.
it's like I can go in there and say, "Oh man."
Is he a regular that just sits
Yeah.
there all the time?
I'm like parking
Well, then
here.
maybe he
Wow,
feels
I
like, you
was
know.
like, "What's with these meters?" And then you got to put in this. Oh yeah, I know the meter. You got to put it. Excuse me.
What's the harm, though?
There
What's
is.
the harm
You're
when
not my
trying to
friend.
talk
You're
to
not
you?
part of my little pact here. I don't want you
Your
involved in my
clique?
conversation.
So-
And you're looking, and he keeps saying, "You got a radio show? I hear you got a radio show. I really want to come on the radio show." I said, "Here's the business card. Come on the radio." "I don't think I'm going to come on the radio show." I said, "All right, well then call the radio show." "I don't think I want." I said, "Why don't you want to call the radio show? You seem to have an opinion about everything. Why don't you share your opinions on the radio show?" "I think I'm just going to take a pass on it. I really don't think I'm going to talk about." Okay, then shut up.
Did that
Then
guy?
just shutty.
Did he
and
have
stay-
like? Was he
I like
on the
to say
bus
zip
with?
it. I think it's nicer, but...
You know, was he one of the guys with the helmet on in those little buses?
Yo,
you guys are so mean.
I really,
Oh, you guys are
I,
mean.
when I see him walk in, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. I might as well.
You know what? Maybe he's lonely. Maybe he doesn't have any of his own friends.
You know what?
Maybe you should
Then
just
go to
be
the park
nice
and
to
feed the
him.
pigeons and leave people
I'm sorry.
alone.
How much does niceness cost you? How much does it cost you, Chris?
Enough. It cost me my time.
Yeah, I say enough
And I know
because
what-
you should be nice.
Yeah,
Just be
it
nice.
cost me my time. And you know what?
Being kind is free.
I'm nice
okay?
enough. I'm nice enough. I don't
You
need
are
to be
a
a
very nice man. I don't
Yeah.
understand why you have this
Again,
thing. Like,
no
that's-
good deed goes unpunished. Okay?
Hey,
I
we're
don't-
here.
And we
we're
believe-
here on this
I-
beautiful
again,
day.
I
This
agree to a
absolutely
certain extent.
picture perfect day, and we're just trying to get some word across to the public.
Absolutely.
Thank
It's-
you, Ray.
You know, and I'm sure people have known people like that, where they just sit around and they always have to interject in what you're saying when you don't know them. You don't.
You know what? I think I may be one of those people, so I'm going to stand up for
You
that.
might be.
I think I am.
You might
But
be.
you know what? I think people enjoy when I talk to them.
Well, maybe people do, but some people, like for me, to repeat and try to explain to this goofball
Chris just
what
doesn't
I'm
want to be
trying.
nice to people. That's
No,
all.
it's not that I don't want to be nice to people. It's that most people, and I could use this word on the radio, most people suck. I will tell you that a lot of people do suck.
There are a lot of
And
sucky people out there.
A lot
yes.
of people are not nice. They want to know all your business. They don't want to tell you their business. They're very secretive, and you get fed up. And it's not my job to be your friend and to reiterate what I just told my friends, because I'm here to relax, to have a couple of drinks, to have something to eat, and to unwind. I'm not here to come in here with a faxed agenda for you and tell you, okay, this is what we're going to be talking about. Being my
People,
friends.
you know,
Yes,
okay,
they
and
do.
Yes.
you know, you could have the greatest relationship with someone in the world. You could need nothing in that relationship.
Right.
And you know who's going to screw that relationship up? Other people.
Chris? Oh.
Outside entities.
Yes.
Other people are going to infiltrate your life, and they're
100%.
going to sabotage you. Because
Unbelievable.
why? Because you might be happy, or because you might have something they don't have.
Like I
And
said,
who are these people?
I know
Who
what
are
he's
these
talking
people you're
about.
saying you're talking about?
The
No, I
general
agree that
I'm
public.
generalizing.
The
I
generalized-
think there are
You've
people
never,
out
you've
there
never
who
been in a
doesn't.
relationship where someone tried to sabotage it? Come on. I mean,
feel
you know,
that
let's get
there's
real.
sabotage all around me.
Okay,
But-
there you go.
But I don't think that you feel like it's a conspiracy. Like, I do think there are people who see other people who are happy and they're not, so they're like, ugh, let me kind of put a wrench in their plan.
Now, are you kidding? There's people that wake up in the morning figuring out how they can ruin
Yes,
other people's lives.
one of them
Your
is
friend on
Kathleen
the
Rice.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kathleen, because
I love it. Yes.
you get people that say, I am so miserable in my own life.
That's true,
I
and how
hate
sad
myself
is
so
that?
much. I hate my relationship. Let me go out and set up a sting operation for people who aren't hurting other people, and they just want to be alone in private, and whatever goes on, they're not flying planes into buildings and blowing up schools. Leave them alone. Okay, we have a lot more crime, a lot more serious stuff. Okay, we realize you're not the most attractive person in the world. We realize that you're probably very bitter. We realize that you want to jump in front of a camera or a radio studio as quick as you can
And-
because you want to get attention.
And she's really mad
Yeah, and
that she couldn't call him.
right, exactly. You know how many times
Would
you
Cole and get herself an escort for the evening? Is that what you're saying?
No. I would
Chris
never
was,
say
Chris
that.
was happy because he had not called that 1 week and he was saved. So
What's you know what? I've called their office for advice on certain things, and you always get, I don't know.
Or they put you
Oh my
on
gosh, I
hold
wish you could
and
see
you're
this.
at the clerk's
I'm so
office
sorry.
because
Right.
you have to pay the filing fee.
Oh, sure.
oh, it's always a filing fee.
There's
The
a
question, of course.
That'll be $40.
Every question has a filing
What
fee.
about the infamous surcharge?
Yes.
And you have a
Infamous surcharge,
What is
man.
a surcharge? Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, that's like when I went to traffic court and it's all dismissed because you do have insurance and you do.
But
this.
you have a
But there's a
surcharge.
$35 surcharge fee that you're gonna have to pay.
But
Oh, thank you so much. I
We're
did
going to let it
nothing
go
wrong,
in
but I'll
the
just pay you
interest of
$35.
justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Justice. Ha!
justice in the United States.
Wait, isn't that an oxymoron?
Oh, my
Wait,
God.
You know what I was talking to Ray about before you got here, Grace? I was saying, we talked about Bernie Madoff, and I said, I bet you...
Where is he? Where is that guy?
He's in jail, little Mensch is in jail. But I bet you, if he were to make these billions off poor people and middle-class people, he would have done maybe 5 years in jail, a slap on the wrist, and that's it. But because he screwed around with big corporations and multimillionaires and celebrities and people that have money to destroy him, then they said, okay, now we're going to set an example of this guy. It's just like,
Selective justice.
you know what? Here's a prime example. If you don't have money, you get the public attorney who's probably just out of grade school and going in there with his crayons and is going to go represent you. Versus if you
that's
have
true.
O.J. Simpson's money, you can get the finest legal team.
Isn't
and-
OJ in jail right now?
Yeah, well, that's for a totally different situation
Oh, right.
where he got caught stealing.
Not for
But
chopping
no,
someone's
for chopping people's heads off, he was free.
was-
Yeah, he was
Free.
okay with that, but he was
That
trying
was
to
fine.
steal
That was
his
fine.
own memorabilia back, and
Yes.
this happened in Vegas.
it back.
And he went to go get his
Give me that
stuff back,
football.
and lo and behold, OJ got busted.
husband. I want it back.
But how did he plead? Not guilty.
Not guilty,
But apparently they thought he was.
Not
so
guilty,
there he
sir.
sits.
I'm here. And I would love to get that memorabilia back.
I'll tell you what, though, he's got quite a resume.
Yeah, he does. Hey, you know what else really bothers me? I'd like you to share this. Why is it that this country has been able to send men up to the moon, has sent, I don't know, countless space shuttles to go fix that stupid satellite up there that's doing absolutely nothing for us, okay? But yet they can't seem to catch the people who are sending out spam and multiple viruses all over your computer, so if you click it by accident, how come you can't catch, obviously it's being sent to you from someone, and I can't tell you how many emails I get from London and from Africa and from different countries saying, you know, you've inherited it, I need you to do me a favor.
Oh,
and
those are the best.
Yeah,
$30
Those are
million.
the
Zimbabwe,
best. I
I'm
like
the
those.
executive
I think I had
of
like $17 million one time.
Right.
All I had to do
Oh, I
was
get that all the
contact
time.
this guy.
Right.
And
Just give
fill
us
out,
your
you know,
name.
Bank
let him know my
information,
family background,
your
and
social
I was the
security
right
number.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
let me just have all your information,
Those aren't
you know,
real?
your social security number, your
Yep.
bank account number. Let me just have all of your personal information.
That is all we
and,
need, and you'll be all set to go. We'll
That
send
is
you
right.
10% of the 70 million.
and you'll get a check. You know, and I'll tell you, you know what the answer to your question is?
What's that?
Well, because they're wasting too much money on the NSA to listen to us.
Yeah,
get
exactly.
into our houses and our private lives, all in our business.
I like the president. He goes, "We're not listening to your conversation, but we're monitoring where your phone calls are going and how long you spend on the phone
And what
with
you
those
say."
conversations,
Right, but we
and
can't
what
find
you're doing on the internet."
these 14 million, allegedly
Right.
14 million illegals that are standing in the shadows.
Yeah, I mean, how come these people cannot be brought to
Oh.
justice?
But they can hear us.
Illegals? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, he's talking
Yeah.
about illegals, and I'm talking about these people who are
Let
sending
them
out.
stay. They work hard. Like what?
Look,
Oh,
I'm all for amnesty. I'm all
Oh,
for
no.
amnesty.
My
But
God,
Right.
do it right.
it's really things
I know,
have to be
but you
done
know
right.
not
You know what?
everyone can.
You know, you don't want to be Fidel Castro and open up
Oh,
the prison
geez.
doors because the prisons are full, and then you put them on brand new boats and send them to Miami. So
Absolutely.
now you've got a Miami full of convicted felons.
Yes, but do you know most of those convicted felons are in there for stupidity that is stealing a loaf of bread because they were hungry. So I'm sorry, I must disagree with
But
you. on
isn't
that
that
one, Ray.
isn't that crazy how people like
That is
Martha
half my
Martha
homeland, I
Stewart
have to speak
do a little bit of time for inside
It's true,
trading,
it's true.
And some people just get off the hook for whatever, and someone who is stealing a loaf of bread to feed their family,
That's
Lame
what's so
is.
sad.
you're done.
Right.
You know what? You don't have a voice unless you have money behind
Yes.
you. And there's so much injustice. Let's be fair across the board. Let's treat everyone equally. Again, I
Right.
know. I'm sorry. Yes, I'm a hippie.
You're a
I'm
bleeding
a
heart
peace and
liberal.
love. I am, because you know what? When do we start treating people right? Everyone, listen, Chris. I will. No, but it's true. You can snore all you want. I will come into your dreams and make it a nightmare.
It's true. In this country, it's money that plays the game. Okay, if you have enough money, let's say you won Powerball. I want to see who's going to sue you, and all you do is tell your team of lawyers, and you'll get the best representation. You know what? Throw this in paperwork. I'm going to give you a prime example, and I wanted to talk about this last week. My old landlord from Long Beach, and if he's listening, knows who he is. He was on News 12, slamming the door in the camera's face. He didn't want to talk. I do not want to talk about anything. I don't want to speak about the He had one of the buildings. He owns like
You
half of
sound
Long
like a
Beach.
villain.
I know I have put the comment right now.
And when one of his
Oh,
buildings
good
fell.
Italian accent. Good.
One of his buildings fell apart, and it injured people. And he right away, I don't want to talk about this. I want to go run and hide. All he wants to do is collect rent. He's a slumlord. He wants to collect rent, collect rent, collect rent, collect. Even in his
not put any-
so-called luxury building, when I go to visit it, it's disgusting. You know what he does? He took someone's furniture, like they get a sofa love seat from Bob's or whatever. He puts that in the lobby instead of going out and buying. You have a quote unquote luxury building. Buy a nice, an appropriate sofa love seat that belongs in the lobby of a luxury
Nice
building.
leatherette, maybe.
Don't dim your lights. The lights through the hallways are dim. It's like real creepy. Repaint your hallway every now and then. And how about you shampoo your carpet? Now, and you know what he's paying? What people are paying? $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month,
What town is this in?
$5,000. Long Beach.
It's
Oh,
astronomical.
Long Beach.
Yeah, and yet there are he was running. There were buildings where they were selling dope and all these things. But guess what? He's in the city of Long Beach, and he generates a lot of business for Long Beach. So, guess what? Everything's going to be swept under the carpet. You know why? He's a millionaire. He has money. So because
he
of
can
that,
pay off any-
the people that any of this
complaints.
debris hit or hurt or whatever, I could be wrong. I'm not sure of the exact story, but I think it was one balcony fell down on top of another balcony.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and News 12 was there. He shut the door in their face. He was yelling and whatever, screaming, and they're like he decided not to. He's been written up for so many negative things. He is lower than dirt. I have to tell you, and I always say there's no excuse for smelling. This guy wore the same. If you looked at him, I lived there for 3.5 years.
Oh, my.
Always dressed like a pig. I've never. I'm not looking. I'm not saying that he should have been dressed in a tuxedo, but never once even like khaki pants and like a polo shirt. Always in smelly shorts and a T-shirt that you couldn't stand next to him because it was reeking. And then people come in to look at like a $5,000 apartment. Let me show you upstairs. And how do you stay in the
Did
elevator?
he have a hump and does he limp?
What's that? No.
Because the way you
no.
describe
Oh,
He's just pure
well, he obviously
evil.
doesn't take care of anything well. including
obviously not
himself,
the guy
and
you
it
want to be
starts-
sitting next to at the
I-
barbecue.
You know what? I hope that when
Definitely not.
his time
Not in the
comes,
heat, at least.
I hope his children wind up spending money on the people that Kathleen Rice is going after. I hope that's where they spend his fortune.
You know, Chris,
Okay.
some people are so poor that all they have is money.
Yes, exactly. And my parents
Hey,
always
that is
said
so
to me, Chris,
profound. I
they
like
never
that.
built a hearse with a luggage rack.
Exactly.
You're not going with it.
That's
You can't
right.
take
You
it
can't
with
take
you.
it. You
You're
cannot.
going out the way you come in, and that's the way
What
it
is
is.
your legacy going to be? Is it
This-
going to be I made all this money and made no friends and spread no joy and love?
He is
to the world?
miserable. He has no friends. Really,
It's
nobody.
sad.
I
You're
was
right.
like,
So
I was
he's
like
the
his only
poorest
friend.
man you can find.
Because I
Exactly.
took pity on
Exactly.
him because he was just like nobody would, and then he would just sit. Now remember, you're the developer. You own this building. What developers sit in the lobby and stare at their tenants coming in and out with a little board to see you pay the rent?
Does
They have management companies that do that.
Does he do that?
You build up your building and you leave.
Do you see the publicity this guy just got for smelling?
I guess he doesn't believe in using
Thank you,
deodorant.
Chris. Yeah.
And he would come out and he would literally sometimes if a tenant came down. Now remember they're paying like $4,500 a month rent. My sink isn't working in the guest bathroom, whatever. Use the other bathroom for now. What do you mean use the other bathroom for now? They're paying $4,500. You get someone, you get a plumber, you get someone competent. I had to leave the building. I had a walk-in closet collapsed on my head. I got a concussion.
Oh.
Bleeding all over the place. I have no exaggeration. 7 medical reports, all backing this up. 7 medical reports. I have them.
Sounds
Okay.
like that's going to leave a mark.
This is
That didn't knock any sense
not
into
to
it.
mention I have a whole stack of all they have these little Mead binder books of all the different tenants that called the concierge to file complaints that my kitchen sink fell out, my cabinet fell down, my closet fell down, the window fell out. I have about 100 pages of this. I photocopied 100 pages of different apartments, not me. Had nothing to do with me. So it obviously wasn't me.
Was
and
there
now
anyone
you're on the
influence you at all?
news. What's that?
Were you ever compensated for your?
No. I kind of like let my lawsuit kind of slide, but I still have time, so I have to continue that.
So now you're taking to the microphone
Because-
to get your revenge.
Well, he doesn't. I didn't mention his name. I'm not going to mention his name. I'm sure if he's listening, he knows who he is. I'm sure some of the people or
People
know
know.
who you
yeah,
are.
People know.
People know.
Know
He
who
was
you
on
are.
News 12, and his business is Long Beach, and he gets away with a lot of stuff.
Well, that's very
because
sad.
he
There's
has a lot
something
of money.
called karma.
Well, who's that other cat that just got the 30 days in the hole for the unemployment thing?
Oh, what's his
Which cat
name?
was that?
What's his name?
Cool cat. His name is Michael Fagan. He was the
Yeah.
ex-city councilman or whatever, and he was on unemployment. And
All
then,
right, we wasted too much time on him. Sorry. Next.
yeah, he was unemployed. And then he got a job and he continued to say that he was on unemployment.
You're forgiven,
Michael,
Ray, you're
this is for
forgiven.
you. Okay,
Oh.
now
I
let's move
can't
on.
tell you how attractive you are when you do that.
Boy, thank you. It's called diverticulitis. I have it. It's a disease.
Well,
Okay.
that's why
Hide
he
behind your
bought a
disease,
sesame
Chris.
seed
Hide
bagel.
behind
Hey, you better be lucky it's not coming at the other end.
I
We wouldn't be
think
sitting
you
in the
got-
studio.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ray, anything you want to add before we go?
Well,
I see you got a whole bunch of notes
I
there.
just, I keep
Aw.
flipping through this whole
Ray,
piece of
Ray is
paper.
cool.
and,
Don't flip.
I have
Ray
to
is
tell
good.
you
We
that.
like it.
Somebody threw a toaster at his headlight.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. Oh no, I was telling him. I was on my way home from a job, and
Out a
crossing
window?
this one road, and some teenagers came out of the equestrian trails. And threw a mailbox, one of
Oh,
those
a
mailbox,
mailbox.
ripped it out of the
I thought it was
ground, and
a
threw it in
toaster.
front of my truck, and I almost wound up like the turkey lady. Remember the turkey lady?
Oh yeah, with frozen
Remember the
turkey.
woman, the kids a few
That
years
was
ago?
terrible.
They threw the frozen
I can't
turkey
even
off
talk
the
about that.
overpass, and the
Horrible.
poor woman almost got killed.
That was
Yeah,
awful.
and with
You
the
know,
baby.
She was in the hospital a long
Wasn't there a
time.
baby in
She
the car
was,
too?
yeah.
She was
There
really-
there
that's
were
horrible.
minor children in the car and
Horrible.
everything.
Ray,
And
on
I'll tell
behalf
you.
of those evil little children, I apologize that that was done to you because that is terrible.
You want to know what? These are the very same kids that we were talking about
Yes.
that had the lack of
Who don't get
supervision, the
spankings.
lack of parental interaction,
Yes.
Who weren't
and
shaking
the lack of
like Chris
respect
Middleton.
that Chris brought up before. And
You're
something.
telling me these kids didn't deserve it? These kids
No,
probably
those
had
children
no parent
deserve punishment. Absolutely, that is horrible. They could have killed you.
Yeah, I got home and my fiance says, did you chase him? I said, why bother? You're not going to catch these
Did you
kids.
run them
They hang
down
out
with your
these
van?
And you know what? When you call the police, they're gonna go, did you see the kids?
Yeah, it's 20 degrees out. Do you think that this cop is going to get out and start walking
I'll
through
get paid
equestrian fields
$150,000 a year. I don't have time to write a report.
to chase a bunch of
Heck, why would you do
teenagers
my
that have
job?
nothing better to do than try and kill us? I mean, come on.
That's
You know,
horrible. Let's do the right thing, people.
Okay, well,
Let's
we're
start
gonna
doing the right
we're gonna
thing.
kind of like close it down here because we have 1 minute left, and I want to thank Ray for coming on the show, and
Let's enjoy it,
Yaya
Ray.
wasn't here. Ray, it was great having you.
Absolutely.
And always a pleasure to have Grace. And throughout the whole show, our friend Fireka has been taping
In our
us.
face with his iPhone.
I can't wait to see how big. Like,
I think he got a shot on my nose one
I
time.
think
so.
my head looks like a jack-o'-lantern. That's gonna look really great. But we have to start
Don't
putting these
insult
things
the
on
jack-o'-lantern,
YouTube.
come on.
But also, Jamie, thank you for being
Yes, thank you,
our
Jamie.
engineer. You did a great job.
great work, Jamie. Thank you.
Yay.
And for all of you listening and calling in, I want to thank you very much for calling in. Those fathers out there, happy Father's Day. Love you. See you
Be
next
kind.
week.